Welcome to episode 85 of Nobody Special.
On this episode, we talk about balancing biblical beliefs and politics.
The Gospel Outpost presents Nobody Special. Hey everyone, welcome to Nobody Special, two Nobodies talking about the somebody who matters. I'm Danny, the healthy boy and host of Nobody Special.
And I'm Caleb, you're the host of Nobody Special. This is a podcast where two people talk about God, pop culture, politics, and everything in between, all while not taking any of it too seriously.
Caleb.
Hello.
You're alive.
I'm back.
So let's start off with an apology. We had said we would try and tape this episode a couple days after the monstrosity I put out came out. And instead, someone decided to get the flu.
You know how it be.
And
I'm not apologizing.
Strep.
I've already gone through enough pain, guys.
You looked really bad.
Yeah?
Yeah, you looked really bad. I didn't want to say it then. I walked into your apartment. I was like, oh my gosh, did you die 2 days ago or something? It
was bad. And I had strep at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So just imagine death, like the moment where you're like almost about to die, where you're right there, and just staying like that for 5 days.
Yeah. It
was bad.
I will say a couple of things. First of all, going to get prescription medication was a very eye-opening experience for me.
Yeah? Have you never done that?
First of all, I don't even know if I want to talk about this, but I can't leave. I can't swing up. I can't come over to the plate and not swing. When I took you to urgent care, they straight up came out and said, do you want to go back and sit with your son?
He's old.
Excuse me. And I said, how old do you think I am? Because they had your file. They're like, no, he's 19. And I'm like, how old do you think I am? And they said, like, mid-30s. I'm like, how do you... Okay. I mean... So
right.
I'm 34, and they said 15, so it's possible. And, it is...
Yeah, it's more than possible.
Yeah.
It's more than possible by, like, a lot of years.
I wasn't prepared, because I don't even know if I told you about this one. I wasn't
prepared
prepared for that.
15?
No. That's when I would have had you. Was when I was 15.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It just kind of freaked me out, because I don't even know if I told you about this dream. I had a dream I adopted a kid. It really freaked me out.
I've had a dream like that too. I love that dream.
But I got up that day because it was a dream. It just stuck. Is like, you're adopting someone, and so the whole day, I'm just thinking like, I'm gonna father the heck out of that kid, and I was like pumping myself up for it, and nothing was happening.
Yeah,
I didn't even meet a kid who needed a dad. I was like, let's go, let's do it.
Yeah.
And so anyway. That really threw me off. And then I've been thinking about it because in picking up the medication, there was that guy who was picking up drugs on behalf of someone else, and her file was wrong, and they said it had a K instead of an S.
Yeah.
And I've been trying to think of, for like all 7 days now, 6 days, what name you could confuse a K and an S, because that stuff will mess with you for a while, where a name would make sense if you exchange a K.
He's just trying to get some prescription drugs for someone he doesn't even know the name of. He's just trying to be nice.
So instead of like Karen, it was Saren. If I'm typing that in, I don't think that's a name, but I finally figured it out.
Kathy? Sathy?
I finally figured it out today. I was driving home.
What?
And I just thought about it, and then it was dead silent, and the car didn't have any music on or anything. It was like, Kara! and it works. It's like Sarah, like I was like, I figured it out. Neat. So
Sarah.
Yeah, no. So sorry you didn't get your medication, Sarah. Sarah.
Or they could have been fake, and he just wanted to get them drugs.
I'm sorry, Sarah, you didn't get your medication.
Yeah.
Is that a car? Kia Sorento? Whatever. Anyway, Caleb, it's been a crazy week. You took for a pop culture podcast, you took off the worst week imaginable.
Yeah, did I?
Yeah, it was fantastic. I could have done 8 shows and didn't want to. So first of all, Kanye is a Christian to the point that the Calvinists, Calvin Bros, are okay with it. And we all know they're the gatekeepers of the faith.
Yeah, that's how everyone acts. And you know what, Calvin Bros?
Jesus loves you.
Jesus loves you.
A DNC debate had multiple debates, actually. They had multiple debates. And they were all buck wild.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Apparently, one of the candidates is going after, I forget his name. It's not Buttigieg, it's the other guy. The furry.
I don't know anything about any of this.
Yeah, he wants to take away the church status of churches.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah. I saw that on Facebook somehow.
Mm-hmm. And they also had the LGBTQ debate where Chris Cuomo doesn't understand what preferred pronouns are, so he identified himself as going by the pronouns of of her and all the feminine pronouns, because Kamala Harris came out and said, and my pronouns are she, her, and something else.
She, her, and his.
And Chris Cuomo goes, all right, me too. And she just went, okay.
Yeah.
Fortnite died. It might still be dead.
Yeah, I saw that.
Mm-hmm.
It's coming back, chapter 2.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, guys. I played Fortnite when it was first around.
Mm-hmm.
And I really enjoyed it. And now it looks like it's normal again. I watched the trailer and I was like, wow,
right.
Other than that boat. And I might try it out again. And then probably play it for a day and never play it again. But, it'll be worth it.
Can we talk more about Fortnite so I can put that in the title and get them clicks?
No.
Okay. No, it's been down, and I'm just imagining I'm the eight-year-old that just bought Battle Pass and then finished a game and came in 96th, and then I'm like, what? Where did my dad's money just go? And I don't know. I think that's funny.
Never existed.
And now you can't play for 4 days. Because there's someone out there who did that. Oh, also, the other thing that happened. NBA and China are in cahoots, and also Blizzard Gaming.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But they're not going to do it. They're not going to ban those players, and then they ban them.
Yeah.
But for completely different reasons.
Okay, this is unrelated, and no one can see this on the podcast, but it looks like there's a guy with a hat in that shadow right there.
So,
and it's really concerning to me for some reason.
We should also point out you're still a little bit sick.
I am a little bit sick, and I don't know why I just had to point that out, but I did.
No one
I can't
can
stop looking at
it. So Caleb, missing all of that, how do you feel? Are you glad to be off the drugs?
Yes.
Prescription. Wink.
It was the worst.
Uh-huh.
But, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it still kind of sucks, but, right now, because I have the remainder of the strep.
Mm-hmm.
And having to go into work is still, tough because you just don't have as much energy as you had before.
Yep.
And I'm still getting that back, but it was a good time of learning and just nightmares and I literally had one night where I couldn't rest for some reason. I thought I was technically asleep, but like
Ooh.
I had to set up cinematography lighting, that's like for my bedroom, for me sleeping, and to make it look cinematic. And there was like a camera crew walking around, like there was like 15 people in my bedroom setting stuff.
In the dream.
In my dream.
I just want to be sure. In the dream.
People outside my window, like setting
we
lights.
did a documentary of Caleb
through.
throwing up in the toilet.
And like, and in my head, it looked great, which is weird because I've never done like a movie set, cinematography before. It's always like corporate dumb stuff, but it was really good looking, and I knew like where to put the lights and everything. And I know it was a dream, but it felt really cool. But it was also the worst, most stressful dream ever. And I woke up and I was like sweating. I was like, stop, you're not filming right now.
Oh, the infamous fever dream.
Yeah.
And like everything's horrible, and there's background music, a full orchestra scoring the whole thing. It's in color.
Yeah.
I swore I was having a fever dream at one point. It was the most stressful thing I've ever seen. Turns out I was just watching Paddington Bear, the movie, and I'm like, what is happening?
Paddington Bear.
Also, I had a fever, so that movie doesn't seem real to me.
Is a great movie.
They're holding the family at gunpoint.
Paddington 2 is good.
Yeah, so was the first one. They both are like 96% on Rotten
How
Tomatoes.
could you say that was a fever dream? That just insulted me.
I thought it was a fever dream because there were guns in the Paddington Bear movie. People almost died in the Paddington Bear movie, and I don't understand. And I was really sick, and I was like, is this happening? And Mom's like, no, this is happening. So
life is people almost die all the time, Danny.
Yeah.
No matter how cute life is.
And then they escaped in a hot air balloon.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds like Paddington Bear.
Hey, speaking of guns,
yes.
Loose transition. We have a letter from a listener.
Yes, we
Hello.
do.
Oh, actually, there's another comment from Matt H. He says, hi. Hi. Hey,
Hi.
Hey, what's up, Matthew? He commented on a Gospel Outpost thing for the John Bible Study, shameless plug, that I'm doing. He commented, hey, I know you guys enjoy hearing a person say hi, so hi.
Yes, we do.
Hey, Matthew H.
Yes, we do.
Hi.
What's up?
How you doing?
It's good to hear from you.
What's up?
I wish it wasn't so brief, friend.
I know. Ask us questions. Actually, he's crazy smart, too, so ask a question like you would ask it to
dumb
second
people.
career or dumb people. Take that one from me. But also there's another question come in from somebody who's close to both of us.
Yes.
John S. has a Bible question. Caleb, do you want to go ahead and read that
John,
for us?
Shout out to that one time we stayed up all night playing the Lord of the Rings game.
John is your brother-in-law. Are we doxing him if we say that?
It doesn't matter.
John's email address. Here's his personal cell phone number. Now, I have cool stories with John. Do we want to talk about John's stories first? John was my intern for a bit, and I tortured him. In fact, I straight up told him at the start, if you don't hate me or are upset at me at some point during this internship, I haven't done my job. And I can tell you exactly the point that he thought about quitting.
Yeah.
When I was helping him learn how to preach, and I decided to do it through stress testing him.
Mm-hmm.
So I took out this part was deliberately mean. It was I giggled. Sorry, John. I giggled about this one because I turned on all the lights, stage lights, the microphone, gave it to him, but I took all the chairs out except for one, and I made him preach to me, and I was holding a notepad, and every now and then I would appear to be writing something. John, I don't ever know if I told you this. I wasn't writing anything, and it was a really good sermon regardless of whatever I said.
John also has a really awesome beard.
Yeah.
And it's just awesome.
One of the few people who I'm okay having a beard.
You don't like beards?
No, I don't. Specifically
weird.
the mustache part. I don't like mustaches. But I think if a person has a beard, no mustache, it's weird.
Day.
Ooh, that's...
If I can grow anything.
You'll be able to fit in with the other 12-year-old
Hashtag
boys.
Minchumania. Shout out. Shout out to my boy.
By the time you finish growing the mustache, they'll have another quarterback. Anyway,
No,
John
they
has
won't
a
have
question.
another. They'll have
We
4
have
more
to actually
quarterbacks.
get to the show at some point. John has a question. Kid, do you want to read it for us?
I shall read this question.
Thank you for reading this question.
I have a biblical/political question for y'all. As Christians, what is the right balance between advocating/being invested in our rights as American people and being removed from that as a people of God? For instance, I support the Second Amendment, but is it Christian to really fight for that, considering that it's a right given through political power, while Jesus seemed quite removed from politics? Now that's a good freaking question.
That's a really good question.
And
as an anarchist, I gosh, I would be like the worst anarchist. I'm too much of a rule follower. It's like, guys, our meeting was supposed to start at 9, not 9:04. Like, we're anarchists.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. I don't know. All right, so first of all, I just gotta get this out of the way, and then we can. I know we may or may not get to the part I actually want to talk about, but no joke, I have seen people talk about the Second Amendment, because he brought it up, as their God-given right. The Second Amendment. I'm gonna say this again because I feel like some of y'all heard that and went, yeah. The Second Amendment. Someone stated on Facebook it was their God-given right, and now there's a lot of really cool promises in the Bible.
That is not one of them.
I don't think a Glock was one of them. I mean, that's what? So to me, this is a misunderstanding of the Second Amendment and the purpose of the Constitution in general, which is the protection of the inalienable rights given by God of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And guns are a means of protection against the oppressive governments and that kind of thing. But to say that God said arm up, I feel
I understand where they're coming from in that argument, like, because the Bible does tell us that all authority on heaven and earth was placed by him, and
so a little bit.
I kind of just misquoted that, but there's a verse that says that the authority that is over us, good or bad, is placed by God, and He is basically all-knowing and over everything. And Danny is highlighting the verse right there and making me feel really dumb that I didn't see it. You know, I'm just gonna read it really quick.
I'm trying to do it subtly for you, just like I can do this. That's fine.
But how am I supposed to pull up? Oh wait, actually, I think I remember it now.
Yeah, no, go for it.
But you want me to read the whole thing?
No, it's the first part.
Yeah. Let every person be subject to the governing authorities. For there is no authority except from God, and those that exist have been instituted by God. That's right. So
Romans 13 verse 1, and actually the whole chapter is pretty sweet, so do check it out. But I would
say it's more of a God allowed right.
Yeah, well,
if you see what I mean.
Let's take a step back to the actual question.
Yeah. You're the one that went off on that trail.
Yeah, and I was just about to give you credit for that, but I'm not going to. I was about to say that before this show you rightfully called me out on for missing the actual question, but now I'm not going to give you that dignity. So the first question is, how in touch and inclined in politics do we think Christians need to be? And to me, it does come down a big bit to Romans 13 that we are Americans, yes, or I mean Caleb and I are Americans, but above that we are Christians.
Yeah.
And I think the order of that becomes really, really important, and the two are not interchangeable. Especially 2019, the two are not interchangeable. The one thing Obama actually claimed that I kind of agree on is that he claimed America isn't a Christian nation, and at this point, to be honest, I kind of got to agree with them.
Yeah.
And there's a long history behind that, but to just stop and go, well, no, we've been Christian and are still Christian is unfair to by any appearance of the culture.
Yeah.
And is marked by the massive decline in the church that is causing some of the problems we are watching now, because people have kind of phoned it in faith-wise. Can I say that? Is that too harsh?
No.
Okay. Phoned it in faith-wise. So Caleb, how deep into politics does the Christian need to be, or should they be?
I mean, I think you said it great. Like, politics should never be, sorry, I have a dog hair in my mouth.
He's still sick. I want to point that one out.
No, I have a dog hair in my mouth.
I know, but you didn't need to say it. Just, man, calling Izzy out. She's sick, too. My poor dog. We're never getting to this question. Thanks for writing in, John. Next topic.
Like, I think that Christians, like you said, that is the most important thing in life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, God is the thing that drives us, or the thing that should drive us, and we need to look at our hearts and make sure that is what is going on. And I think that, you know, the pastor of my church says it great. I love him. I'm gonna brag on my pastor a bit, but
it's okay. Drop that name.
Joby freaking Martin.
That's not his actual middle name. It's Thaddeus. I really have no idea. Please, this is gonna be the one episode he hears. Oh no, oh no.
But like, he says that, you know, a lot of times people, and I think I brought this up on the podcast many times, but people try and make a list of, you know, that God should be number one in their life, but in reality, God is the paper and the ink on which you write that list of your priorities in life. And because it is the foundation. It's not just this thing that's
right.
Oh, I need to check off God today and read my Bible.
Right.
But like,
I did a quiet time.
If you didn't do your quiet time, God exists and He still loves you. He is the foundation of your whole life. You know, like that's just true. He's one whether you put Him there or not. And so this is like, this kind of falls under that, is make sure that God is the foundation and that you're filtering all of your politics and what you believe.
Right.
Which we were talking about, the difference between politics and like
that's,
beliefs,
that's
which I kind of think it's just, it's what we believe, and it's what people believe. So I have my group of beliefs, and politics is when that starts clashing. I don't know. I feel like finding out which ones are more morally correct to rise to the top to form laws. I don't know.
It's an ethics question based in governmental authority, and that's kind of the problem. Is the problem of American politics is that both conservatives and the GOP and the Democrats, to an extent, they have this understanding that politics and governmental authority can be interchanged with God, and that to me is problematic, because both of them, they screw that up, but in a different manner, and that's the problem. So I have a problem trying to decide if a thing is politics or isn't it, because the thing, to be honest, in my opinion, or in my thought process behind this, is that a thing becomes a politic thing if politicians are talking about it, if only because they tend to all just agree and back each other up as if it's West Side Story and they're snapping the whole time. Like, I mean, that's the point. It becomes split and into politics is if politicians are talking about it, and that to me just isn't helpful, especially because on a good amount of it, it's an ethics question. I mean, take abortion. That's an ethics question that, because the politicians are talking about it, people have just gone RD, 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 and split up right down the middle in the exact manner people think they should.
Well, I think
but at its core, it's an ethical question that isn't being dealt out of an ethical perspective, and as Christians, it needs to be handled in an ethical manner.
I think once again, like ethics play into everyone's beliefs. I think it's being handled on what people believe is ethically right, and people disagree on ethics all the time, and that's another product of that. But
but politics is just kind of a term that just kind of, I don't know. And
I feel like
it's a weird term because it doesn't actually stand for anything.
I feel like it's going to be more productive for us to talk about beliefs, and whether that falls into like politics or not,
Right.
And I think that a lot of it does, and like is sometimes more on minor and sometimes major topics in politics. But I think that for productivity, I feel like it's easier to just talk about beliefs during this because
true, but the other aspect of politics is government.
Yeah.
So to what extent does a Christian need to be plugged into government?
That's what. Okay.
I mean, that's kind of the heart of that question, I feel.
Yeah. So that's what. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Like,
I will not die for the GOP. I just want to go ahead and say that I am a member. I will be voting in their primary. There won't be options, but I'll vote.
Yeah,
and I'll feel sad about it, but I'll vote. But
I feel like.
But I'm not gonna die because stop being a GOP or we'll shoot you. I'll be
not
like,
even,
oh shoot, I'm out. Whatever, libertarian, let's go.
Like once again, I feel like it's kind of it comes down to just you need to filter everything through the Bible and what God says, and you need to pray about what you believe. And I think the moment you start becoming ugly. And like unloving. That's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
Is when I feel like you've gone too far. Like
if you use the phrase "wake up, sheeple."
Like when
I'm sorry, is that just me on that one?
When there's
"wake up, sheeple," I automatically discount anything you say.
I don't know what sheeple is.
People who are sheep, they're just followers.
I've never heard that.
You have? Oh, I get that all the time. It's like, wake up, sheeple. They're trying to take your rights. Dude.
But like, because Christians, you shouldn't be so involved that you are becoming dirtied by it, if you know what I mean.
Right.
And I think that there's a lot of Christian politicians that do it right and some that do it horribly wrong. And I mean, I'll say it, if you're being like ugly about something, like if you're calling, these people who are voting for abortion murderers, like, and just spitting in their face.
Sure.
And you're wrong. Sure. I'm like just gonna say it. Like that's there's a moment. I think it's when you become too passionate about it, and I think that's where we have to watch ourselves. Is because I think that we should fight for what we believe in, because God has placed this authority over us, where we have the freedom to do that, which is amazing, and I feel like that is the opportunity that God has given us to actually, spread and do good. And
but at the same time, there's like two parts of that have to be understood. That as a Christian, there are a few things I can't stay quiet on. I mean, even abortion, because it's a hot button topic. There are aspects of it I can't be quiet about, but to go and bomb an abortion clinic in the name of Jesus is so big of a flagrant misunderstanding and a misapplication of the gospel that it misses all points. I think it's okay to be plugged into politics, but at the same time, I have to be Christian first, and then politics under that.
Like, I think that stating your beliefs, that I think abortion is wrong, like,
Mm-hmm.
and doing all that,
Mm-hmm.
doing that whole thing is fine. But the moment you start to treat the opposing side to what you believe
Mm-hmm.
poorly
Mm-hmm.
in any way, shape, or form is when it's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that is something that is ever. I think you can be firm. I think that we shouldn't. We should be confident, and it's like,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's basically, like, for me where it goes is like,
Sure. So
I never want to get, and never have I been in a politics debate with someone. Like, it's just not
did
worth
we
it.
do Team Pact?
Like, but that's with a bunch of Christians, and
Yeah.
it's like we weren't being,
No, I know. I was
not like not a debate is wrong, an argument.
Yeah.
Did I say debate or argument? I meant argument.
You said debate. Yeah. Like you,
Argument.
You straight.
Where there's aggression. Debate is like
Are
just.
your Team Pact friends just unsubscribed? Like, oh, forget you too then. All right, that's fine.
Like,
Well, so-
I've been in many debates, but like, I have many siblings or family members who do not believe remotely what I believe.
Sure.
And I love talking to them because they actually treat, me with respect as well,
Mm-hmm.
because we're not, just biting each other's heads off.
Sure.
Because that's not, to be honest,
Sure.
that's not, it may feel
So-
good, but like, it's not the most productive way to
Sure.
to talk about and go forward with what you believe, and extending an olive branch to someone.
Right. So I think partially to John's question, a Christian needs to be an influence in the sphere they've been given, and there are some people that are called to be Christian and in politics, and that needs to have an impact on that. If they do go in there and don't have an impact, they're both, I'd say, a horrible politician and Christian, because if I am the light in the darkness, the salt to the earth, all these things, if I am those things, then it's going to be made present, and the things I feel and buy into, those are going to be expressed. The problem, it comes in a few different areas I can spot that I can't, through law and legislation, make people Christian. And there are aspects of that don't have a place in politics, as in, hey, everyone has to go to this church. That has historically never been good or produced good converts. Because that's kind of the same thing as being told, you have to love me because it's the law. Well, I can go through the emotions of that, but truth be told, I can't do that under duress. It just isn't a thing. And the other aspect is, and this tends to be a thing on the conservative end, is that the only people that can be Christians are conservatives. And that type of a mentality is causing a greater chasm than, to be honest, there actually needs to be, because there are aspects of the progressive and Democrat end that the church needs to be paying attention to. They do have good points that I need to hear, even if I don't agree.
Yeah.
And there are Christians who are Democrats, and to a lot of conservative people, that's like, well, then how are they voting for this, and that? It's like, it doesn't, that's beyond the point at this point. They're Christian first, and then come together and figure out how to do Christ together, and then figure out how this plays out in a governmental kind of an aspect. But the thing above all of it is, am I trying to follow Christ first? I know that he brought up guns. Owning a gun isn't a God-given right. It is protected in the Bill of Rights, but it isn't protected in the Bible. And to be honest, as important as I think that bill
it is, Second Amendment means like defending yourself. So like, that means
Mm-hmm.
not only guns but other
Sure.
stuff too.
Well, but there's a bigger case in the Bible of being willing to become a martyr, to turn the cheek, to do those things in an effort to not damage a person to hell.
Yeah.
There is a greater thing to be claimed there, and to just claim that because I'm a Christian, I have a right to pull out a gun and blow a person away because they're attacking me. Well, to be honest, if like Christ had done that, we would all be in a crazy amount of trouble. We would all have been shot by now.
Yeah.
Christ bore the cross, capable. See, that was the thing. They taunted him, like, if you're actually God and you would come down there. That's still an option for him. Like, that was still, it's like, I can still do the lightning bolt thing. I mean, he, at any point, he could have gone like, bip this, like, and fire out of his hands. Like, I have to concede that was an option that he chose to not take.
Yeah.
So, there are aspects that it isn't the best thing to do, and as odd as it sounds, if I have to choose between being a Christian or owning a gun, if I have to choose either of those, I'm gonna pick the Christ one first.
Yeah,
because it means more.
And I don't think it always even comes down to like that type of gravity, but like
no, I made a ludicrous statement.
Yeah, but it's like just I think it is important that we remember the two laws that Christ gave us, and that is to love God with everything inside of us, heart, soul, mind, strength. Heart, soul, mind.
Strength. Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
I was like, what?
Depending on which version you read, but yes. One of them only has 3, and I think he's wrong. Yeah, that's right.
And the other is to...
Just kidding, it's the Bible.
Is to love people. And it never says to judge them anywhere. So people need to get that out of their minds. Well, but it's like... No, we should. Like, you want to fight me on that?
Well, I mean, that's a longer conversation I don't want to get into. Go ahead. We'll talk about that later.
And it's, I mean, are we going to judge people? Probably. But it's
if we say
not
condemn
what we
people,
do.
I would be happier if we said condemn people. It's not ours to condemn people.
Or judge them.
I would say condemn.
Why?
I am happy to say condemn.
What? Say that they are not fit for the gospel?
We are not to condemn people. I mean, because that is a thing conservatives I've seen do, is that they've condemned the other end as unchristian, and to be honest, all that does is turn them off to any kind of the gospel.
Yeah, and that's the... Why are we... This is another thing my pastor says, and it's so true. Why are we acting like unsaved people should be saved? They don't believe it.
You cannot hold a non-Christian to a biblical standard who does not believe in the authority of the Bible. What you can do, though, is expect someone who holds to the authority of the Bible to behave according to a biblical standard.
Yes, now, you can do that.
I'm not claiming go up to them and be like, you idiot, you did a wrong thing, out of the faith. Because, as Matthew 18 says, there's clearly better ways to handle that. As in not do the thing you just did and actually talk about it in a real setting.
Right. But, like, I mean, treat everyone with love. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. And when you see yourself getting overly passionate, you need to be sure that your motives are correct, and that's basically, I think where this conversation kind of ends.
But I don't think passionate is a bad thing. There are topics that
it's a healthy amount.
Yes, there is a point that it becomes about condemning a person because they have a thought and trying to advocate a thing to protect people. I mean, the core of biblical gospel and our role to impact this world is to do it in a manner to protect them and help them understand the glory of God. And if at any point those are gone, then I'm not doing it in the manner I need to.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to his question, because he brought up kind of 2A, that it's I can have thoughts on that, but there are points that I've watched Christians take it too far, that I mean, threatening to murder people, or start, well, not murder, but if they break in, I'm gonna just shoot them all and kill them all, and that well, there's a difference in a motive behind killing, of, am I trying to kill a person or protect the thing I've been given, as in a wife and kids. If in an ethical context, it is okay to protect the kids and everybody else in that home. That is okay to do, and encourage in a biblical context. But to just blow a person out because I can, well, that's not. There's a thing in the heart that is not good there, that needs to be addressed. The goal is protection of people instead of the ending of a person. And as far as politics goes, I think that's our connection to it, is to encourage people to come to Christ, but not to legislate that they do that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that needs to be based on our personal testimony and kind of display of our faith, that people go, hey, why are you different? I want that.
Yeah, it's not.
I mean, even going back to Abraham, the purpose of, well, Abraham and Moses and all that got that, the point, it was to set them apart. That people asked, why aren't you eating any shrimp? And they said, well, because God told me this, and that was the point of it. It was to be different.
Yeah, I mean, it is only by the power of God that people are saved. It's not the,
Mm-hmm.
I think, like Paul says, the lofty words of men.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about what we say. It's about God moving through us.
Yeah.
And that's a really good topic right there, is that we did talk about in Teen Pact, is like, can charity, or that falls under it, like, be governed? And the answer is no. It's
right. Yeah.
It is never, because then it's not genuine. If you want people to give to this place, then that's just tax them more and section off that money there, because it's going to be the same thing.
Right. I can't mandate grace. I mean, that's the whole problem. I know this podcast has talked about the problem in socialism, is that it's mandated grace, which is no form of grace.
Yeah.
I can't claim, like, well, no, I'm giving it to this. Like, no, well, no, you're taking it. It's a tax. It's like you're taking it. You have to call the thing that it is, and to call it anything else is just really irresponsible. And very dangerous and misleading. But I mean, charity and grace, the aspect of it is it's unearned and undeserved, and comes out of this place of it comes out of the heart of a person, instead of based on a thing I have to do in order to be good, which isn't even the right word. So, or lawful, I guess. So, now a prime example of that is I think there was an NFL player in Jacksonville Jags that paid a fair amount of medical bills, or JEA bills, power bills, to a ton of customers. He said, hey, I've been given a ton, I've been blessed, and because of that, I'm going to pay off some accounts. And they did. They paid off a bunch of accounts. There was another church that they said, hey, the church has been blessed. There's an abundance of people who are trying to bless other people, so they paid off a lot of hospital debts. It was like 1,000 people's debts they paid off in a hospital. Those are acts of grace and charity.
Yeah.
If they had taxed the church to death and then given it to socialized healthcare, that would not have been the same thing, even if stuff got paid for, which also it wouldn't have because the system stinks. But just quick aside. But no, yeah, the idea of charity and grace, I think, is a great understanding of that in this context.
Yeah.
So how do we be Christians in politics?
I mean, I think what it comes down to is just you cannot, live without the bread of Christ, without reading the Bible, without praying and understanding and gaining that barrier, that's where the balance comes from.
Right.
Is knowing when to cut back, when you need to start being loving over pushing this belief out there. It is, our beliefs are important. I don't want to discount that, but there's a moment where I think God calls us to back down, and that loving people should go higher than what those things are.
And the other aspect I bring up is that the idea and definition of love gets to be defined by God instead of by our standards, because few people try and use that as a cop-out of like, we should just love each other, and that's a cop-out. Because if God is the ultimate authority and Scripture is authoritative in the self-revelation of God's glory and purpose, then I don't get to define how that is expressed. God does, and I have to submit to that. And I think a good amount of people, they view that as a cop-out, like, we should just be okay if anyone just does anything they want because I love them. Like, that's not love, that's apathy. And that's a difference. And there is a point in bringing up truth, but also bringing it in grace and love.
Yeah. Which I think is what, stating your beliefs is. I just think it oftentimes it gets to a certain point where it's just, for me, it's like, I can't really go much further than this. I need to stay firm in what I believe, but I'm not gonna be a jerk to this person because this is another thing. Like, you'll realize that arguing with people, I think you'll find that you're not gonna change their mind. It's not gonna happen. So like,
not necessarily.
Sometimes, but when it's someone who is so set in their ways, freaking only God can change their mind.
Right.
And it's not always like that, but
they can be given an opportunity. I need to give them the message, because how can people hear if no one preaches to them?
Exactly, which is why I'm all for for conversations. But the moment aggression comes into it, it's just wrong.
Right.
That's my opinion. Other people might think differently, but it's just, that's why I hate Facebook arguments. I hate all of that stuff. I do. I genuinely do. I know you laugh, and I know you get into them, but
I don't get into them that often.
Or Twitter arguments.
No,
I've seen you on there, Danny. I've seen you.
No, you don't. You don't have Twitter.
I'm exposing Danny.
I've been
You've showed me them.
I know. I've been heavier on conservatives than I have anybody else, because if they're gonna be a president of a very large Christian institution and talk that kind of garbage, I'm gonna call you out on that. But at the same time, I said my piece and I got out, and I'm harder on conservatives because the foolishness they're talking, because I'm talking as a member of them instead of the other.
But I mean, still, I would say that we still need to keep. I'm not saying you weren't loving them. You were fine.
I asked questions.
Yeah,
plausible deniability.
I just wanted to pick on you, but
I stand by my tweets.
even to people who are in our party or whatever, you're gonna. I mean, there's gonna be disagreements everywhere. It's not always the other side. It's oftentimes you argue with your friend more than your enemy.
Right.
And that's
and And because there isn't enough time to get to our next topic, I want to do some political hot takes, shall we?
We have another topic?
We do, yeah. But we ain't getting to that.
Oh, yeah.
So political hot takes, because the Democratic debates are still going on. So I'm going to just go ahead and say some things that all of us need to hear. We have to maintain our faith in 2020. We still have to be Christians. I don't get to stop being a Christian and then pick it back up on the day of inauguration. That's one of my hot takes. Do you have any? I have about 8 more.
I don't have a hot take. I'm not quirky.
Don't cry at the end of this election no matter what happens. I'm just calling it now. Don't be like, well, that's not my president. I didn't vote for him. And granted, this one's going to be a toss-up because it's a circus. If you say, that's not my president, well, yeah, it is. I'm sorry. It is. Yeah. If you are here and a member, then that is your president, because the other talk isn't that productive.
Yeah.
If your first thought, and I stand by this one, I said it earlier, I'll say it again, the term "wake up, sheeple" needs to be, you stop it. Just stop it.
Yeah.
Wake up, sheeple. Don't you see what they're trying to do?
Yeah.
That's not an argument. That's not a conversation. It's barely a sentence, and it's definitely not a word. I get really frustrated scrolling through Facebook.
I can tell.
2020, post food pictures again. Make food pictures on Instagram again. Start the hashtag. Make food Instagram again.
Amen.
Make Instagram
I love
food again.
Guys, I just filmed food for like the first time today, which is, I don't know why, but
Mifa.
It was so much fun.
Mifa. Make Instagram food again.
Find that joy. Do it.
Well, I'm starting the hashtag. It will be on this post.
Yeah.
Make Instagram food again, 2020.
But yeah,
Do we have more hot takes? I got more.
No, we don't need more. I'm shutting you down. Just, yeah, find that balance. That was a great question, John. It forced me to think a ton and find my, like, what I, because, like, I don't know, oftentimes I don't, like, think about all these things, but it was a really great question. And I think it just comes from, like everything else in life, being balanced and rooted in the Word of God and in prayer, and just constantly growing our relationship with Him.
And being willing to fall under the authority of Scripture that has been given to us as God's own description of Himself and His glory.
Yeah.
Yay for Sola Scriptura.
Yeah. Hey, I saw a guy with a Sola shirt on today when I was filming.
Ordered you one.
And I went up to him because I was getting testimonials, and I was like, hey, do you mind being filmed? And he was like, no. I was like, okay, I love your shirt though. He was like, you know what this means? I'm like, that's one of the 5 solas. And he's like, ah.
Right. It's fun. I just finished the blog series on the 5 solas.
Yeah.
Probably the most disheartening part about that whole series is that that term didn't like come up to like 1700, 1800. It's how we backdated the classification.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's a bummer. But they're really good, and they did hold to them, but it was just kind of like, okay. But no, I mean, they're all fantastic. Hey, go check out the blog series. I actually had a lot of fun doing it.
Solas. The
5 solas. It's on. I think I'm doing one more to wrap it up. Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure that out if I have anything more to say.
Sola Fide was the shirt he had on.
That might have been the band.
No, it wasn't the band.
That's not a band. Bleep them.
Because I mean, it is a band. It's like a local band.
Do we like? They're good.
Yeah, they're a good band.
Yeah, they're a good band. I think one of them listens.
One of them?
Maybe.
I doubt that.
They will.
Hey,
Sola Fide, listen to our podcast. Okay. I wanted to go to one of their concerts. I don't know why they'd listen. I actually got invited to one of their concerts by someone. It was like, all right, because they're all like 18 and 19. And from my former youth pastor day, someone said, dude, you should come out of the concert. And I was like, what time does it start? And they're like, 10. I'm like, no, that's cute. Can I come in pajamas and sleep in my bed?
The drummer plays is also the drummer on tour for Johnny Swim.
Yeah.
Super talented.
I went to his high school graduation. He wasn't there.
Yeah, he wasn't there.
Hey guys, I'm on tour right now. I'm like, weird flex, but all right. He gave him a video from the set of the Today Show.
Yeah.
And I was just like, if he was honest, I'd say like
baller move.
I've already forgotten half of your names. I'm on tour. Like that to me, I would have really respected that man if he had said that.
Swim.
I'm on tour with Johnny Swim, so neat high school diploma.
He's a super awesome guy.
No, I've heard good things. So we should get him on the show.
Yeah.
I don't know what we talk about. So
I don't know
music,
either.
I don't know. What do you want?
Two of us are
Why are you
so disconnected from music?
Yay. How many guitar chords do you play? More than 3? Whoa, Christian.
Hey, I know how to play one.
Super saved over here.
I'm 1/3 of the way there, guys.
so John, thanks for... I'm going to be honest, John. I'm not entirely sure we answered your question, but we talked about what we wanted to talk about, which is really what this podcast
we were all
about.
Over the place. Didn't help that sick. I'm so tired. But,
yeah. But if people have questions, though, Caleb, where can they go?
You can go to...
We've only been gone a week.
You can go to nobodyspecialpodcast.com. No, just kidding. And don't go to .com.
Dude, hold on, I gotta make a purchase.
Go to Instagram and Facebook, and you can direct message us on those and ask us any questions. You can also go to thegospeloutpost.com/nobodyspecial, and at the bottom of the page, there's a place to ask us questions or say hello, like our friend did, and
Matthew H did.
Matthew H
on a Gospel Outpost thing, which is fine. We know what you mean. If you're posting on like a Bible study thing, just be sure it's for Nobody Special, because I got really confused for a bit.
No, I wasn't confused at all. I knew what it meant right away.
You didn't get it.
What? Yeah, I did.
No, you didn't.
I have notifications on my phone.
Not for Outpost. You have
yes, I do.
I did make you an admin. Hold on. I got to change that. Get that out. You do have notifications. Oh, you do care. That's neat.
Yeah, I saw that.
Thank you.
I saw you.
I'm happy now. We see you.
Yeah, do it anywhere. Don't listen to Danny. Do it anywhere. We love to hear you. We love to hear you.
I'm a stupid. Just say Nobody Special in it somewhere.
No, you don't even have to do that. We know what you mean. Oh my gosh. Izzy is moving our tripod. Izzy?
Oh, did she? No. Just finish the show. We're right here. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm Danny, and we are Nobody Special.